As I say, not as I do, because the shit's so deep you can't run away. I beg to differ on the contrary. Hey, everybody, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a VeVe, OMI, DEFFINITY, DEVVE, daCat SMOL update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello, Dashy. Hello, Dashy. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. Super chats as well. We've got a bunch of messages I'll never get to. VeVe Pokemon tease. Wait for a couple of people to get here, and then we'll go over it. I don't talk BS, so we're gonna go in and delete that comment there, just because, again, it gives people a bad impression that is untrue. Penguin says OGM. I think he means OMG. It's gonna be huge, massive news, orgasms. Well, it's not exactly news. Well, it kind of is, but it's more me just reporting on something that had happened. Today, I don't know if anyone knows this, but we've got people announcing, Pokemon and McDonald's have announced a 30th anniversary collection that is going to come on February. I think it's the 28th. I can never remember when Pokemon Day is. I think it's February 28th. February 27th? When is Pokemon Day? It's like when Ace Ventura is like, what's the password? New England clam chowder, red or white. Oh, I never remember that. So it is on February 27th. That is Pokemon Day. Actually, I don't have this in my calendar for some reason, but I'll put it in there now. And on that day, it will be the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. My God, us millennials are old. So obviously for their 30th, it's going to be a big, heavy one. And so McDonald's has announced a collab in February and March for the 30th anniversary. This is of 2026. You get a bunch of things with them, and they look cool. PokemonBeach.com says McDonald's Pokemon TCG promotion coming to the US for franchise's 30th anniversary. So we do have that as well. And look at, I don't know if this is actual art of what the cards might look like. Yeah, I don't think that's the actual art. I don't think that's the actual thing, but let's see what the internet says, because we live in that age. Okay, here we go. McDonald's Pokemon TCG promotion coming to the US for franchise's 30th anniversary. We can reveal McDonald's will be doing another Happy Meal X Pokemon TCG promotion. It will run from February to March to celebrate the franchise's 30th anniversary. Dates may vary by country. No other details are known at this time. That is a very, very light, not really much of a news update, but let's see what the rest of the article says. Typically for McDonald's promotions, you receive a 4-card booster containing 1 holo card and 3 non-holo cards. The set sizes are usually 15 cards, including 6 holo cards printed on confetti holofoil. The cards are always reprints. For the franchise's 25th anniversary in 2021, there were 50 cards you could pull, all 24 starters, plus Pikachu as both holo and non-holo cards. That's amazing. Pokemon could do something similar for the 30th anniversary. Ow. So for this, at this point, consider Pikachu a starter just because of Pokemon Yellow. Other games that they've had him in, I forget the remake of Yellow. Yeah, like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. So at least 2 main series games, Pikachu is your starter. It's not even a choice. They give you Pikachu, like they force it upon you. Paper. Oh my God. Moving on here. Earlier this year, McDonald's Japan released a Pikachu promo with exclusive artwork. There's a slim possibility we could get the card in English, but this does remain to be seen, especially since the card release led to mass chaos. Again, if it's something that's new and unique art, yeah, it's going to be like it said, chaos. Why I see this happening a lot is because even in the collector's aspect, now going way back to when I was in my prime in this, you had a couple of cards that if they only had a release in Japan, like they didn't have that same there's a bunch of cards that are pretty infamous that a lot of people would know. So there's Rocket's Grimer. That's in the Rocket set. It was one of the first kind of altered cards because in Japan, you see Rocket's Grimer, He's coming out of a sewer, and in the Japanese card, he's like looking up a girl's skirt. I don't think it's meant to be anything like. I hope it's not meant to be anything like crazy sexual. It's supposed to just be like, oh, he's curious. What is that? Why does that look like that? And in English, they're just like, that's not freaking happening. So they cut that out, and now instead of looking up a girl's skirt, he's just looking like kind of wherever. For Sabrina, I forget the name of the card, but Sabrina's holding up a master ball, and it looks like she's giving like the finger. Kind of is. But she's holding up a ball, and I don't think it's a master ball. It could be ultra ball, could be great ball, but she's part of Team Rocket, so maybe it is the master ball. Holding that up, and then in the English variant, she's just not doing that. Misty's Tears. This is another fake, another altered one, where in Japan, you have a naked Misty crying over Starmie. Straight up, she's naked. In English, they changed that card, Misty's Tears, to where she's wiping the tears off a Squirtle, I think. So the card does the same thing. There's no variability with the with what the card does playability wise. But for this, there's a naked Misty crying over Starmie. They just completely changed that artwork because it wasn't the English people that were handling it. I think it's WotC, Wizards of the Coast. They were just like, nah, we're not doing that. Another famous one is Koga's Trick. So swastikas are obviously very bad, but that's not the only time like Nazis like kind of stole that. There were symbols like that and like that reversed, where it just meant something completely different. And they had one of those symbols in Koga's Trick. For English, they obviously changed that. They're just like, hey, we're not having that. Regardless of what it means, even though the symbol's different, the symbol means something else, they just took that completely out of there. So again, I started with this. Dino Grande, I feel like you're kind of being a douche here, but maybe you're being a little funny, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I go on. So maybe that was warranted. That's a white. No, what is that? That's not the White House. I don't know what your PFP is. Anyway, so the reason I'm going over this is because we've had teases before, mostly from. Heck is this email from? Oh, very nice, very nice. Okay, got it. We've had teases like this before, where David posts up something from Pokemon. Either it's from Vagabond Games, or either it's from wherever it is. It's normally from his from one of his websites, or because he's just a fan. So today, as you can see in the thumbnail, actually, I'm just going to go over it. I'm just going to take a look at the. Did he delete it? Okay, David deleted it from his story. I shouldn't even like. So again, it was on his story today, and I'll bring up the screenshot where it's he posts from Electabuzz 1989 Pokemon news story, and now this story, this is way back. I don't know when this was from. This was probably from early 2000s, probably early 2000s, maybe late 90s. Where someone's on Fox News. I don't know the. Oh, Dark Shadow's house. Very nice, very nice. Okay, Khaki Gaijin saw the post. So David posts a story, and I don't know why. Maybe it came up on his timeline, and he's just like, "Oh, I'll repost this. This is cool," because it was about collectability. The guy on there says like, "Yeah, kids are like collecting these, but they're not taking great care of them. They're putting them in binders, doing X, Y, and Z." Again, not really holding it as if it were, like a Honus Wagner card, Mickey Mantle card, like whatever. He said, but his question was, I wonder how many of the parents are taking some of these packs. He said $6 to $8. Around me in Long Island, it was about $5 a pack. I don't know where you could get a card for, or I don't know where you can get a pack for $6 to $8. So it might have been in the early 2000s when they had moved on from base, Fossil, Jungle, and even like the second edition parts, and then you had Legendary Collection. You had a couple of these like kind of reprints up until you got to Johto. Okay, let's see what we have with Neo Genesis. That was the first one. that we had in the Neo series. Then there's, I think there's Neo Revelation. It goes all the way to like Neo Destiny, right? And maybe at that point, the retro packs were $6 to $8 retro, as like 2 years prior, because they could no longer be printed. Because Wizards of the Coast is just like, hey, we're done with these. We're onto these now, because Pokemon had gone into its second generation, which it did get to very early in the anime. You saw Togepi in like the first season. You saw Ho-Oh in the first freaking episode. Ho-Oh in the first episode. You get Togepi in the first season. And then in the first movie, in Pikachu's Vacation, you see Marill. And then in the first movie, you see oh my God, what the heck is that? Fanfi evolves into Donphin. Yeah, you see a Donphin there. So they got to this second generation. They teased it very early. I don't know if they did that in the manga. Hey, what's up, Mr. MC1? How's it going? Yeah, get that bread. I love this game. So again, they teased it very early, and long story short, I want to bring this back to it. The guy was talking about collectability of them, and in this, I don't think he's holding a first edition. It does appear to be a jungle one with Flareon on the cover, but it doesn't appear to be a first edition. So I don't know if he really knew the difference in mint runs. Okay, we do one print run of first edition, unlimited for the rest of them. Jungle did have a set of, they're called no symbols. No symbols are about as rare as first editions, because after base set, where you saw the first edition and you had a bunch of unlimiteds, they're like, okay, how do we differentiate this next set that's also going to have first edition with base set? It's like, okay, so with Jungle, they had the little, like, kind of like a clover, kind of like a leaf thing on the bottom right. And then for Fossil, they had like a little Fossil skeleton hand. But for whatever reason, there was a bunch of cards, probably an entire set run, an entire print run of errors where they had no symbol on it. They're considered like, they're like the most common error card of that time. There is a bunch of others. You have like the red dot Vulpix, which is, again, it's not that rare. Or I'm sorry, it's not that ubiquitous. Not many people even know about it. You have the no damage Ninetales. These ones are a little bit more common, but again, the no symbols you find all the time. So they're not first edition. They're not technically unlimited because they have that error. Again, I don't think that guy knew about it. But to bring this all back to David, he teased it on this day where Pokemon announced that 30th anniversary. And I don't know if anyone remembers, like two and a half years ago, I'm at my friend Meg's and I'm streaming, and I think this was, I was doing like a 24-hour podcast. Yeah, I think it was summer of 2023. My back was hecked again, and it was only hecked for a couple weeks. I heard it playing pickleball. Long story. Anyway, David's name wasn't David. It was like MCD. And I'm thinking like must come down. What is MC? And then derp, like someone pointed like McDonald's. I was like, oh. So again, a lot of what David does doesn't happen right away or even a couple months after, he's doing it. Sometimes it happens years away. Like we had the Jurassic Park license for like 2 years before it came to us. I don't know how long we had the KFC license for, but it was several months. So again, you have licenses sometimes for years or months. Alex Ross, we had Alex Ross for multiple years before he came in with the 1 of 1. So maybe McDonald's was the same thing. Maybe he had something with them years ago, and now is only coming to fruition. I don't know. Now, most likely that's not it. Most likely it's just like, bro, David saw this come up on his timeline. It's talking about collecting and scarcity and rarity, and he decided to share it because that's what it's about. And it happens to be that Pokemon and McDonald's separately announced their 30th anniversary collab. Probably has nothing to do with each other. But I don't know. Every coincidence, I feel like I have to look into. Good evening, Omar. Omar, you missed the first 14 minutes here. That is exactly what I was talking about. And see, I got it out. I got it out in under 15 minutes. Mr. MC1s, I'm co-hosting an old school space on X with Dr. Rolex and VeVe NFT Comics tomorrow at 2 p.m. Oh dear. Yeah, okay. I do have to go live with Manu tomorrow. I have to freaking talk to Manu. He's got a we have some business to finish today. We were supposed to finish it last week on Christmas Eve, but then holidays, and apparently it's a holiday on the 26th in England as well, and then the weekend, and then funds didn't clear until literally like this afternoon. Banking sucks. Blockchain is so much better. Banking sucks. Blockchain infinitely better. This is why I love Definity and DEVVE. Okay. All right. So Mr. MC1 space 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Yeah, old school spaces were the best because I was speaking in a space today, and when I was speaking in a space today, there was I forgot about it. I just thankfully I was in between meetings. I was like, okay, I can join here 40 minutes. Told about it like last week or 2 weeks ago, and and apparently I'd agreed. And long story short, I get the link, go on at 2:01, a song is played. Like I hate songs. I hate listen, I love music. I do music whenever I'm doing stuff, but if I'm like supposed to be in a meeting, like this would never happen in like the corporate world. Hey, meeting starts at 3:00, but for the first 5 minutes we're gonna play music. Oh my, I can't do it. So anyway, I promised I'd be here. I did, and back in the day, there was no music in these spaces. It was a lot of it was just straight up alpha. You get like you're doing the old school space where you have different people, different successful people, proven track records of how they got successful and what they bring to the table and why they like VeVe. And I don't know if all of your stuff's gonna be about VeVe. It just might be collecting in general. It might be different strategies for it, and VeVe might be a small subsect of that. But it's at the end of the day, like that's what spaces were. Like when Lori Brenner was running all this, and she had the Queen's Court, like that. We had two very different styles of interviews. Um, she was like a journalist, like April O'Neil, mother flapper, where she just like hard hitting questions, Barbara Walters type of interviews. Mine's a little bit more laid back. I never prepared for any of mine. But Lori and her husband Will would spend a while like researching and be like, okay, ask him this, do this. He said this on this date, and anyway, it's just like you didn't hear music in that. Like it was just all alpha all the time. Like I remember when MTV2 did Sucker Free Sunday, and it was just about like hard hit, like it was just hard hitting music. Like I'm a white girl at heart. I like Avril Lavigne, I like Cascada, but Sucker Free Sunday was just about like just hard music, and you know there was no white girl stuff, which again I love, but sometimes you're just in the mood to not, you know, not listen to that. And again, I love music, I love all that, but I feel like a lot of spaces nowadays, like, okay, yeah, for like the third time this hour, we're gonna play another song, reset the room, and it's like, bro, Anyway, I'm very happy you're having an old school space. Um, I assume there'll be a lot of you have a lot of it set up. I'd love to, depending on what you're talking about, I'd love to speak. I'd love to go in and participate. But at the end of the day, if I just listen and learn from everyone there, again, maybe NFT comics. And I don't mean to say that like, yeah, I'll only listen to you if you're successful. I love people, and VeVe NFT comics and Dr. Rolex, outside of them being hyper successful, they're just awesome people, and they're just cool, fun people to hang out with. And then one of the byproducts of hanging out with them is that they're really smart, and you get to learn from them. So yeah, that's what I really like. I really like those old school spaces. I'm really happy you're doing one. I hope it should be a success. No problem. Again, I'll be there around March. Yeah, February, March. You Dino Grande K9F saying he's famous. Or saying, yes, I love the alpha too. Love the alpha as well. The Yayo reposting the stream. My man, I haven't worn your hat in a while. I have it upstairs. I have it. I synced it. But I have not. I haven't worn it in like a couple weeks. Yeah, I gotta re-get that. Turtle Gal saying, what are your 2026 VeVe predictions? It's going to be contingent on how fast the Clarity Act can get passed. if we do see that major turn down in February, March, where we take like another 30% haircut on Bitcoin and ETH, and then how that fallout is, if it's just contained to that 90, 100 days like it usually is. If it is, then great. Starting, end of Q2, early Q3, we start our, ascent again, and we rise to see where we could be once again. And if VeVe, David on, I think Bill and Zombie's Metaverse Adventure had mentioned, yeah, there's still an announcement in 2026. We have to go over it. Great. And then on the collectible guy's face, he's just like, yeah, we're not going to do an announcement because of the like. I love David so much. Dude is a beast at everything he does. And again, I'm sure he was just excited, but at that always gets me in trouble, where I just report on the news like, hey, supposedly announcement on the, not on this date, but announcement that they're being teased. We don't know when it's coming out. He says something else. Hey, we have that announcement supposed to be like 6 months ago. It's happening now before the end of the year. And then a week later, hey, where's that announcement? So he actually said on this stream that they're not going to do the announcement. Okay, why? Well, the same reason that DEVVE didn't have their announcement that they were supposed to have in 2025 is that part of the reason is because market conditions. It's like, what? The market conditions change in a week? Didn't he know this? Yes, I know. And I get my dick slapped around, but not nearly as much. Again, David takes all the heavy hits, all the crap. But I just wanted to throw that out there. That shit rolls downhill. Anyway, if this market is going to continue to be not great for 6 months, I don't want VeVe to post any of these big announcements while the market is here or going down. I would much rather them, because again, the announcements, and I say announcements plural because there's going to be multiple of them. Why is this? Oh, my back. Oh my god. Ugh. Oh god, it burns. Sorry. The announcements are going to be, you can only fire that bullet once, and I'd rather them save it for when there's a lot more gunpowder in the cartridge, and you can say like, oh yeah, this is going to have a lot more net positive effect if we fire it in September as opposed to April. DEVVE's announcement, that'll be probably April. Like, regardless of market conditions, it'll move that needle in a big way. But for VeVe, like, again, you're not in the narrative, and I'm not going to say the narrative doesn't matter, because it does, and that'll probably add or subtract to the multiple. But what I see is that if the market is doing well, and let's say digital collectibles are not in the narrative, let's say it's meme coins, let's say it's gaming, let's say it's DeFi, like it doesn't matter what the narrative is, as long as there's something pumping and people are making money, they can reallocate those profits into something that hasn't run yet. And as long as people are making money, then I would be okay with VeVe announcing whatever they have to announce, because they can attract some of that money. But if they do it when the market's down and like nobody has anything left and there's no dry powder on the side, not that there's no dry powder, but people aren't willing to put in that money in this down market, then I would advise them not to say anything. So I'm happy they haven't, because again, I don't think it would be a net positive for OMI right now. It might do a spike and then drop back down like it always does. So I would rather them wait for a better market. So which again, it's going to probably be Q2, second half of 2026. And it might not. The stuff that Manu had said and other people have been saying, like, maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe we've already had that. We did already have a big downturn, but maybe we don't have another big one. Maybe 79.9 was as low as it was going to go, and then it goes right up to 150 middle of the year. I don't know. That would be nice. I don't expect that to happen. We have to see what happens after Clarity Act is passed. But aside from the announcements that we kind of are assuming are IP based, I'm really hoping, like, it's been what, 3.5 years since the announcement of Tengeku Senso. I don't know if they're using AI to help with that, but I don't know how many people are working on it. I don't know if they just gave up on it. There's updates like every now and then where let me see if I could find it on X. Tengoku Senso. I don't follow. I have no idea. I can't find who they are. But it was usually after, like, every month or a couple of months, they would have like a small little gameplay update, which is cool. I don't think that really moves the needle at all, but you want the app to be fun. Like, if people aren't making money, then what other incentives can we give to get people on the app? And I think that a game would be really helpful. So if they can launch that in 2026, that would be great. I would like to see them sell part of the company to then acquire others. So there's two things at work here. I would like to see them acquire other companies, particularly like a super small gaming studio, because again, collectibles are one thing and it's great, but I would like to see, like, how can we use some of these assets in a game? And it's not saying that use the existing assets, hold the asset and it unlocks something else. And I don't expect like David mentioned gaming recently, but there's no, I don't want VeVe to build it. I know Cavernous and Dan are in charge of the VeVeverse, and that's great that that was launched earlier this year, and I'm sure it helped the valuation of the company because they have it. Like they have the it just helps with valuation, even though there's a couple dozen people in there right now. It's hard to work in, and there's updates all the time, and it's cool, but again, because we're not in that narrative, I don't know how much is sitting on the side. I don't know, but now that a lot of stuff is passed and you don't have to worry about things anymore, I would like to see them at least just announce, hey, it might take 2 years, but we will do land sales in OMI. Put that back on the table. Get people excited for burns. Because the 1 to 2 million that we get on Stacker every day is phenomenal, and I am choosing to celebrate those small victories where we can get them. But when we were talking in 2021 or 2022 about the possibility of a multi-dollar OMI, which mathematically is possible, but you need to have a crazy amount of burns, and 2 million a day is just not going to cut it. So I think I would really like, and especially when the price is down here, I would like to see some land, because you have others doing the same thing. I would like to be land being sold for OMI, having a bunch of it burn. And back in the day, they had said, like, if you have a gold logo, you get a piece of land, like, for free. Awesome. Bring some of that back. And again, just because you announce it doesn't mean that you have to have a plan in place. Just say, like, yeah, within 2 years. Cool. Again, what can you do with that land? Well, again, if you buy a gaming studio, so this is why I would want them to announce that they're selling part of the company, 5-10%, buy a gaming studio with it, and then have them build something in conjunction with the VeVeverse. And then and that's just one way that they could do it. What I was talking, like, do strategic. What I was talking about yesterday, when you took a look at all of the top brands for the top kids 7 to 14 years old. Again, McDonald's would be great. We already have KFC. We already have Disney. We already have, Marvel and all that, which is great. Nintendo's one of them. Not that we have, but that was on the list. It was like number 3 for boys. I was like, let's go. Don't raise it from VCs. Raise it from large companies. And again, when the collect chain goes live, which we have the website now, which is great, but when the collect chain goes live and suddenly all of these are interoperable, and nobody else has the, like, I don't know what that does to VCs and other large cap companies that could be like, okay, now we're in. Because I guarantee you, part of the reason why they haven't raised money yet in this way is because there was no interoperability. But that is about to change very soon. So they're probably already in discussions for that. And again, like, what do you do with those funds? How do you allocate that capital? That's something that I've specialized in for a while. But buying other companies would be great. I've heard people say that they should buy FigPin, and I love FigPin. Get a bunch of their stuff. I'm always excited when more FigPin stuff happens. Dan Williams, a friend of mine, is a CEO. I don't know what they're worth. Let's say like several million. Let's say like high seven figures. Let's say like 8 to 10 million. There's 4,000 people on their Facebook. A lot of the posts are just want to sell or want to trade. So even though there are still active users and there is activity on there, the type of people that are on there very rarely want to buy, which means that the type of people that they have are at a level where they don't have a lot of extra income. And when they do, it's usually things that are very small. So looking at those metrics, and again, Facebook is just one metric. I'm sure there's a Reddit and a Discord and Telegram and all that stuff. But there was this one girl that I knew that I think she was on the stream. I don't know if she was or not. Really wanted one of these, and I was like, listen, I don't want to sell. Well, now I'll sell one of these. Now I'll sell this on open if anyone wants it. But and I'll sell my Agoro stuff. I got my girlfriend's baby dad is giving us some grief, so I need to put some money together. So if y'all want my Agoro stuff, y'all want my VeVe gold coins. Now that gold is through the heckin' roof, y'all let me know. Anyway, she was like fairly notable in the FigPin community. And I was even offering her like, hey, for an opened one where I already done, we'll do the transfer or whatever, like 250. And she like couldn't do it. It's like, okay, this is new information. So as far as buying companies, I don't think I would necessarily buy FigPin. I would go in and I would say, hey, I guess you could buy part of it. But what I would do is I would continue to do deals with FigPin. I would continue to see what they can do. And obviously, cross-pollination, not just what they can do for us, but what we could do for them as well. And I would like to see something where if VeVe were to buy even part of the company, and then suddenly every new FigPin that goes out, you could have a digital code. That's something that I would really like to see. Like Fidgetals, every single time we have a Fidgetal, it does exceedingly well. So what I would like to see is a big Fidgetal drop. And when you buy it, the person that buys it has the option to redeem a VeVe code, not an and or not, but not an or, but an and. Like buy it, enjoy the physical, and redeem the code. We did this with Funko and Marvel on the Iron Man drop, and that was beautiful. David's like $30,000 bounty went unanswered because there was no nobody had redeemed that, so I don't know who got it. But there's something about Fidgetals that Pudgy Penguins has been doing, and it seems like nobody else is doing it. Pudgy Penguins is just eating everybody else's lunch as far as Fidgetals are concerned. They're in Walmart, they're in all this. VeVe could do something very similar, and this is why I wanted them to buy daCat, at least part of it, not the whole thing. Because if they did, they could say like, oh, hey, here's our IP. Because the stuff that they did with the Christmas tree was excellent. David and Dan selling out almost $30,000 in 30 minutes of their own IP of David and Dan Christmas stuff was excellent. But outside of the company, nobody really knows who they are. And to go to Walmart and say like, yes, we're going to make, plushies of ourselves. I'd buy one. I'd buy a David and Dan plushie. I'd buy a couple of those plushies. but it's just not something that everyone can, like get on board with. But a cat or cats or multiple animals on there, that's a lot easier because everybody loves cats. Everybody loves animals. Again, Gary V. Why are all of his V friends based off animals? It's because in similar to Pokemon, every single Pokemon is someone's favorite. I don't care that there's over 1,000 of them. I don't care that some are ugly. I don't care that some are useless. Every single one. Like there was a TikTok trend earlier this year. There was a song, I forget the name of it, but it goes, I will fall in love with you. And it showed a Pokemon, like over and over again. I don't care how or when. And it showed all of the different variations of that Pokemon, whether it's an Alolan version, Kanto version. Every single Pokemon was a favorite of someone's, and that was just on TikTok. So Gary Vaynerchuk, I think, knew this when making his V friends and making these animals, because maybe some people think elephants are cool. Maybe elephants aren't most people's favorite animal, but they're someone's, and that's how he connects them. So what I think David and Dan, it might behoove them to buy part of daCat, because we have, I don't know, 50 characters that we own, including me, like me as a cat, that are ours, and we could do whatever they want. And if people don't like cats, cool. There's dogs. Cool. There's these things called butt pirates. There's birds. There's other beings. Like there's an insane amount of original IP that is ours that can go, that kids would just think are cool, and they would go into Walmart and they would go into all these places. So I would like them to get more into digitals. I don't know the best. Funko, as much as I like to say I want more Funko drops, because the first one did so well, I'm very concerned about the company, because they haven't made money in 5 years. They've continuously lost it. I do not. I don't want them to make a deal with Funko and announce that, yes, we're doing 8 digital drops, Funko VeVe stuff. You buy it, you get the VeVe code. I don't want them to announce 8 drops and then suddenly Funko goes out of business, and it's like, okay, now we're screwed holding the bag, and now it looks like we don't know what we're doing because we made a deal with a company that is just not going to be around forever. And I know they're making a lot of money, but yeah, they're not doing well as a company. So it's and Figpin again is good, but there's a limited audience to them. So I don't know what the right answer is right now. Partnering with an existing company is one. Doing something on your own is another. And maybe they could do both. It's like in Stranger Things, okay, do we do this or do we do that? Move into a couple different teams and do both. Also, the science teacher on Stranger Things, oh my God, he is such a stud. He's with a new girl every season. Love that man. Anyway, I've spent a lot of time on this question. So those are some of my predictions. Those are some of my wants. Omar loves the OMI thing. The Pikachu McDonald's promo card that went crazy in Japan could turn English version. People are going to go crazy for it. I think they could as well. Every Telegram message I get, I think, is going to be my guy doing something here, and it's not. It's not. What we got here? Oh, well, thank you, Omar, for tagging me in. I forget. Is it Mr. Chan? Is that Roshi's disguise? It's called Mr. Chan, right? And then Kid Goku. Official SMOLs. Have you ever noticed the most successful meme coins ever deployed are missed by 99% of KOLs? That is true. That is true. It is. And shout out to SMOL, that is in the top 15% of creators on OnlyFans. A little cute little pupper. Changing the game, as it were. Okay, let's do. Gotta make a plan. Gotta do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you want to. I don't want to make a plan for a day far away. Everyone can smash that like button. That is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon. Smash that super thanks button down below. Super chats as well. Yeah, Raticate is straight up top tier. Love Raticate. Even second generation, I think even better. Mr. Epsilon, by the way, Rolex, VeVe NFT Commerce are going to pull some stuff from our collections and give them away. Y'all didn't need to do that, but hell yeah. All three of us want to have a space like old times. Just like old times. Good times. Sham G13, we're posting the stream. My man, thank you. Thank you. Far too kind. Omar loves OMI, so that's going to be a great space. I agree. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the best space. Dog Boy says, hi, Randy. What's up, Dog Boy? How's it going, brother? You got to put Cass in your profile picture there. You got some dogs that aren't Cass, and I think Cass might be a little offended. Just a little bit. 99% of Pump Fund devs use creator rewards for themselves, but SMOL uses them for buys. Very good. Very good. Straight fire. Love it. Meow, 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 meow. Khaki Gadget says, I'm going to have to start up a learning school so I can afford more NFTs. Yeah, same. Same. Also, I've been putting out shorts lately, and 2 of them got over 1,000 views, so I would like to thank you all for watching my shorts. I will continue to do so as long as I keep creating content. So I suppose, yeah, it's party time tomorrow. Kuma! I was like, what up, man? What's up, Kuma? It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. As long as I don't think, or Doughboy says, Atmosphere 1, I don't think that I stopped partying since last Saturday. We partied hard. We've been partying hard. Shout out to Rita Baby and Dog Boy for letting me and the girlfriend, just chill with them for a couple of days last week. It was great, and then Christmas holiday was a thing, and then back to getting that bread. Ruined Randy's liver in Florida. Surprise! I mean, it's just that we did it every day. Like we never went super hard, but it's just that we went, and I think most days I waited till 2. Some days I waited till like 12, and then hey, let's go. But I've been good. I've wanted to drink, especially because I was writing the SMOL comic. So my most recent hire was writing the SMOL comic, and they actually haven't checked their messages because I wrote like the first 6 pages for them, 5.5 pages, and then they haven't gotten back to me. Can I ask them to? Shit. Double shit. Who's the? Like how did y'all like the comic so far? Any feedback? Because I'm writing more of it. I had a thing the other day. I think it was just yesterday or 2 days ago. I had to look up a character's name from Nike the Pig, and I reread it, and it's so good. Some of these are really freaking good. Because I needed that character referenced in the that character might even be in the SMOL comic. And for the SMOL comic, writing in general, I tend to do better, with a couple of daddy sodas in me. But then I was like, listen, I drank for like 10 days straight. Like it's been like most of the month because Sarah came here on the 12th, 13th, 14th. The 15th was my birthday, so of course I had to, Then I think I took a couple days off, and then I flew Sarah down to Orlando on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. All right, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Like another 7 days in a row of drinking. So the 27th, the 28th, and today, no drinking because I'm gonna see Sarah again. I'm flying her out here on Friday. So yeah, we're gonna probably drink a little bit again, or we might not. I don't know. But I also don't want to be a fat ass for her. I wanna look decent. Mr. Epstein, Dog Boy, let's go. Crypto Perez, hey, reposting the stream. Oh, my man, Crypto Perez was just talking about SMOL. All good things. Anyway, let's do. We haven't really gone over any crypto yet. I've been talking for 44 minutes. Let's do OMI. OMI is down 3.5% on the day to 1963, 0001963. Still a $52 million market cap. So it's actually not the worst that it could be. Let's see the volume here. 1.84 million in volume. That's not a lot. What about Kraken over here? And our new listing has $14,000 in volume. That is wild. Let's do DEVVE. Let's see where DEVVE's at. I think DEVVE's down a bit today too. I think that DEVVE's down like 10%. 9.5% to 20.8 cents. It was actually much, much worse. It was down to 19.5 cents earlier today. Then it rallied up a bit. We are at a $18 million market cap. Goddamn, that is low. I was talking to a buddy of mine today that had mentioned he's so analytical and into the charts where I don't want to say gets lost in the sauce, but he's just like, I can't even verbatim say, I don't know any of the vernacular, but he's like, because of this and this, it's like the SpongeBob going, blah, 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 blah. He's like, you're looking at, it's still trading within normal volumes or within normal range, but if you fall below 18 cents, it can get to 13 cents or even 9 cents. And I was like, well, fuck, you know, that's horrible. That would obviously make it so that we would have that would make it so that we at 9 cents would be under a $10 million market cap. That sounds very extreme, and I don't think that should happen. But stuff happens in crypto that shouldn't happen all the time. So yeah, that's possible. Be advised. There's a buddy of mine that it's already pretty much done, but he just put in over the last week $250,000 into DEVVE. I repeat, he put in $250,000 into DEVVE. And obviously, you know, anything can do, go to zero, little or no notice, but it's to the point where, yeah, that I guess technically could get cut in half, because I don't think that the market really moves until the second half of 2026. I don't think it moves upwards until that point. It could definitely, I feel like it's always going down. That being said, DEVVE is a little different because of the size of the announcement that they have. It does not matter if Bitcoin is down 20% in a single day. Once DEVVE makes that announcement, it's over. You will not be able to put that toothpaste back in the tube, put that genie back in the bottle. Once that announcement is made and the light is shown on it from whoever the exchange partner is, DEVVE will likely never be below like $1 again after that. Or if it's 9 cents at that point, okay, do a 10x, and it won't be below 50 cents again. Because again, that is a big, big silver bullet. And once that's fired, everyone's going to go crazy for weeks afterwards. So I don't think it really matters what type of market we're in at that point. I do think that they would want to wait for a better market, but I don't believe that they're going to need to. Unless, again, in early April, if things are just absolutely horrible, they're like, we'll wait. You know, we could do it at any time, but we're going to wait till a better market. They should be able. They could announce pretty much whenever they want. They did say they were going to wait till they have the virtual asset service provider license. Cool. If they don't get one in the next 3 months or like 80 days at this point, they could just buy a company that has it. That's no problem. That's fine. But yeah, just letting y'all know, that's what's going on with DEVVE. Anyway, let's do DEFINITY. See what they're up to. DEFINITY is down 10% on the day. $2.2 million market. Guys, this is insane. They've done millions in because they're doing 6 figures a month. I'm not going to say if it's low six figures or high six figures, but they're grossing that each month. You could imagine that, well, if they're grossing in the six figures, is what they're grossing each year equivalent to their market cap or higher? This is insanely undervalued, in my opinion. But if you don't know that and you just look at it, you think, okay, there's 2,300 in volume out of the $2.2 million market cap. There's $80,000 in liquidity, 40K each in Definity and Ethereum. And, you know, like, why would you try to put in even 50K when there's only 40K liquidity in Ethereum and 40K liquidity in there? It's just, big buys will take a while. Speaking of liquidity, you've got daCat that's up 1% on the day. There's $200 in volume. Doesn't mean much. Market cap is 1.1 million, but the liquidity is 315,000. And there's actually more Ethereum in there than daCat. There's $158,000 worth of Ethereum and $157,000 worth of daCat. So yeah, I love that liquidity. Anyway, oh my gosh. Anyone else back like destroyed right now? No, just mine. Let's take a look at SMOL. Let's see what they're at. They are down 12% on the day. Under 450 market cap, 450K market cap. They are down about 50% on the week, but they're also up 50% on the month. So depending on which way you look at it, it's like, well, you know, they're already up 50%. Or you could say, well, they're down 50% on the week, and now's a good time to buy. Again, or you could say we're up 50% on the month. Maybe now is not a good time. They did mention that they had an exchange come to them and say like, hey, give us X amount of tokens, you know, we'll do a listing. As soon as they gave them the tokens, the exchange sold the tokens. They slapped them with some type of lawsuit, whatever. They're gonna do a relisting. They're gonna buy back all the tokens that they had sold. So that's going to be really good for the token. There's going to be a ton of buy pressure there. That'll reinvigorate the market. And again, I'm working on their comic. It'll incorporate a couple of people and beings from the daCat universe, and then you know, we'll get them on VeVe via the comic curator program next year. When? I have no idea. In the timeline, they come at between like book 4 and 5 for daCat, so they'll still be there, but it's going to be a it's going to be a while. Kun was saying, what up, dog boy, Mr. MC1? We love him. Okay, so I think that's all the... also for SMOL, there was $9,400 in volume today. What's the floor on daCat NFT? So we actually don't have any daCat NFTs yet, although we are probably going to have a few after the comic comes out. So obviously the NFTs on the comic will be 2026. So there should be about 80 secret rare. If you get the secret rare, we'll take a snapshot of it. We'll mail you out a physical copy. So those are people that get the secret rare. They'll be incentivized to hold. They'll be incentivized to buy it as well. We're going to give you something if you have the full set. I don't know what it is yet. It might be like, hey, a snapshot of a wallet, and we might send you like $2 worth of daCat, you know, or a couple dollars worth of the token, just to get it out into more wallets. But the actual NFTs, like, it depends on what we do. So I really like what VeVe did with the David and Dan, the Christmas stuff. They had a couple each at, what we might do is we might have 2 at like 250 and then 2 at like, you know, 30. So that this way we can get, and let's say it's 15, right? Let's say make 7,500. Let's do 3. We could do 3 at 250 each, and it could be daCat, it could be Baker and Randy. You know, it could be me and Cat Form, and you could have them at 1 of 250, and then at a 1 of like 25 each. Need some more daCat? Might call you for a fix. Yeah, we could do something like that. We could definitely do something like that. We'll do, just let me know. Give me a call and I'll help you out. What we did, so I told David to buy some of daCat last, like in 2025 at 100K valuation. And then we raised money at 150K valuation. And the next time we raise money is going to be at a 300K valuation. So it's, David, yeah, Mr. Shot at a cheap valuation there. And this is, again, it's just all blue sky valuation. This is pre-revenue. We're obviously going to freaking rock the house next year when all this stuff comes out. And one of our guys does a lot of work with AI. So we'll have that division as well, where it's just going to be shorts. And he's a beast on Sora. And Sora's like, okay, I've done a couple things on there. It's not my forte, but literally daCat has a whole like AI division where they're just like, okay, let's, you could actually ask daCat. We have AI over on the website. Go to daCat Linktree. Anyway, let's do, go over some of the news. Where is this news? Okay, very good. Tom Lee predicts Ethereum will hit 7,000 to 9,000 and Bitcoin will hit 200,000 all in 2026. Okay, I'll take it. Titikmulai, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, says NFTs feel like a deadland right now. No hype, no easy flips, no number go up. This is usually the moment that people say support the team and think long term. But let's be honest, even with revenue coming in, what's the actual benefit of holding long term? Are we holding because we like it, or are we holding because we think that it'll go moon one day? It'll go stonks. You have Kaki Gaijin, my man, where's he at? You have Kaki Gaijin saying, why are you guys buying all that doo-doo ass? Is it investment or collecting? He says, if you're investing, it's highly speculative, so you have to wait for the markets to go into the frothy period. You're collecting, who wants to buy a monkey JPEG from the mainstream audience? When you can buy Spider-Man, Batman, and other NFTs you're actually a fan of over on VeVe. And Tatik Mulai says how to buy in VeVe. And he goes in and he tags VeVe and he tags Stacker World saying make an account. And if you want to use crypto, you can use Stacker World. Thought that was perfect. Oh, sorry. Also, you have Kraken saying new perpetual futures on Kraken Pro. OMI, you can trade with 20x leverage, which is insane. I would not do that, but you do you, fam. You do you, boo-boo. The memes that some people send me are hysterical. Convince. All right, I went over the collect, guys. There's a big difference between the collect chain and then the collect token, which seems like a scam. Not Commons and Crypto. Commons and Crypto stuff is great. But there's another so-called collect on Fanable. Seems very scammy because Fanable hasn't acknowledged them at all. Anyway, good news for animals here. Oh, shit. Best Friends Animal Society says 2025 comes to a close. We have some exciting information to end the year with. Nearly half of all U.S. states have now issued no-kill proclamations in 2024 or so far in 2025. 23 states, Arizona, Georgia, Idaho, Mississippi, North Dakota, Utah, Montana, Virginia, Washington, Arkansas, Louisiana, West Virginia, Oregon, Connecticut, Kansas, Iowa, Oklahoma, Indiana, Vermont, New Hampshire, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Illinois have taken this inspiring step, setting a powerful precedent for other states to follow suit. With this commitment to no kill, we can't wait to see what 2026 has in store. Let's keep the momentum going. Make every shelter a no-kill shelter. This is from Mocha Boy. Oh, I'm gonna have to go to Mocha Boy's thing over here. And it's supposed to say even bought stocks, had to wait. Ever bought stocks that had to wait 2 full days to actually own them? That's the old world of T+2. T+2 transaction plus 2 days settlement time. The Dev Exchange flips the script into T+0. Trade today, and your assets are in your hand in seconds. There's less risk, less money, less risk and less money lost to middlemen. 2, there's no more banks or brokers holding your funds hostage. You hold the keys, always. DEVVE blockchain delivers mathematically instantaneous settlement, bulletproof security, institutional grade compliance. Goodbye crypto chaos. Hello serious next gen finance. Number 3, They're building the exchange Wall Street has dreamed of for years with top global partners. This isn't hype, it's the missing infrastructure. The future doesn't wait. Do you? I feel like that was written with ChatGPT. Anyway, link down below to the DEVVE exchange. You want to get that bread, you should. Moving on. Nope. Jesus, man. Can't believe Americans have spent $2.6 billion on OnlyFans in 2025, placing the US #1 in the world. That is insane. December 28th, we had 1.9 billion, 1.9 million, almost 2 million OMI was burned in 307 transactions. Bull Theory IO, I have to go in and look at them real quick as well. Shoot. Okay. This was, why is Bitcoin down? And I will tell you what he said as soon as it loads, but it's not loading. Silver dropped, weekend manipulation, Bitcoin pumped. Okay. 22 hours ago, from right now, why is Bitcoin down 30% from its peak while gold and silver are going parabolic? Because gold and silver tops first, then Bitcoin starts its rally. Here's what happened last time. After the March 2020 crash, the Fed injected massive liquidity into the system. The first assets to react were gold and silver. Gold rallied from around $14.50 to $20.75 by August of 2020. Silver rallied from about $12 to $29 in the same period. During this entire move, Bitcoin did almost nothing. Bitcoin stayed stuck around $9,000 to $12,000 for 5 months. This is also after a major liquidation event which happened in March of 2020 due to the Rona. Gold and silver peaked in August of 2020, and money started rotating into risk-on assets. This is when Bitcoin started moving. From August 2020 to May of 2021, Bitcoin went from $12,000 to $64,800, nearly a 5.5x. Total crypto market cap went up 8x by mid-2021. Now look at today. Gold is again near record highs around $45.50. Silver has surged to over $80, and both are clearly moving first. Bitcoin, meanwhile, is mostly moving sideways, just like it was in mid-2020. We also had another large liquidation event on October 10th, similar to March 2020. And once again, Bitcoin has spent months moving slowly after that. The difference this time is important. 2020, liquidity from the Fed was the main catalyst. 2026, there are multiple catalysts lining up at the same time. The Fed has already started injecting liquidity again. Rate cuts are expected to continue. You have Jerome Powell that's getting out of there soon. Banks may get SLR exemptions, allowing more leverage. Crypto regulation clarity is improving. We should get that being passed in January. Trump administration is planning for dividend checks. More spot crypto ETFs, especially altcoin ETFs, are expected. There's large asset managers now having easy crypto access. There's a new pro-crypto Fed chair coming in May, and markets will front-run policy changes. Last cycle, Bitcoin rallied mainly because of liquidity. This time, liquidity plus structure is coming together. The setup looks very similar, but with more fuel. Gold and silver moving first is not bearish for crypto. Historically, it's been the early signal. If this pattern repeats, Bitcoin and crypto markets do not lead first, they move after the metals pause. That's why the current sideways action on Bitcoin is not the start of the bear market, but rather a calm before the storm. Comment down below what you think. That was a good read. Life at okay. I think that's gonna be it's gonna be it for today. We might have that'll be it for today. Polymarket confirms some users lost funds after security flaw and third-party authentication. That's wild. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say the baby dashi, baby dashi, I love you. Meow. See y'all later.